Well, it is time to talk money on this Friday morning, and today we are talking Social Security benefits and how the pandemic may affect benefits down the road. Davis Garrison III from Preservation Financial Group joins us this morning with more on how these two relate to each other. And Davis, always good to have you in our studio.
Thanks for having me, Amy.
Well, as we continue to sort of look at the different dynamics that are coming into play from the pandemic, Social Security, of course, going to be one of them. And analysts are now working on how that's going to come into play.
Exactly, and there are some sleeper surprises that are coming into play. Number one, if you go to the Social Security website on the internet, it will tell you that if Congress does not make certain choices by 2034, the Social Security benefits could be cut by as much as 17%. Now, it doesn't go into detail who's going to be grandfathered, who's not going to be affected, that type of thing. But one of the sleepers, like you say, with the virus is the fact that people that are born in 1960, were born in 1960, may be impacted by the coronavirus in a bleak way. And pre-retirees, and this comes from a Think Advisor website that I subscribe to, and this is as of June 15th, 2020, so it is current. And it says if Congress does nothing to shore up the Social Security Trust Fund, benefits will be cut by 21% when the fund is depleted, which could happen as soon as a dozen years from now. So we're not talking about something that's way off in the future, so it deserves our consideration right now. Pre-retirees that were born in 1960, because of the virus, may suffer an impact. The Social Security Administration uses a very complex formula to arrive at benefits. It's basically the 35 top earning years in your working career. But because of the virus, those born in 1960, job losses and declines, you know, we've had 40 million people go on unemployment as of week before last. That's a big smack up the side of the head, you know, for lack of a better term. But the COVID-19 pandemic will affect the average wage index, which is what determines what your Social Security benefits are. And we don't know what's going to happen this year, but if the average wage index has a dramatic drop, and I'd call 40 million job losses dramatic, those born in 1960 would have a lower benefit than those people that were born in 1959.
So it's going to take that long for this all to sort of catch up and begin to play out, which really puts into perspective a lot of the other dynamics that we're looking at too, to try to make up of this.
Exactly.
And how much time it's actually going to take.
Exactly, and it's all in Congress's, you know, it's in their purview. They're the ones that are responsible for it, and we know how long it takes for something to get through Congress. You know, whether it's on the Democrat side or Republican side, it's a log jam. But this study was done by the Wharton School of Business, who is rated one of the top 3 business schools in the country at the University of Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of credibility to it. And the Wharton School, the study that they did, assumed a 15% decline in Social Security benefits for those people that we've mentioned. And it's not just the year that they turn 60, it's several years, and we can't even envision it, how it's going to impact Social Security benefits as time goes by.
And of course, Social Security, always a hot button issue on an election year. I can only imagine this time that's going to be one of those things that candidates on all levels will be talking about as well.
Exactly. And I had not heard anything about this. This hit me up the side of the head this past week, and it's staggering. Just another one of the impacts that the COVID virus is going to have.
Yeah. And we'll continue, I'm sure, for years to come to learn more about the different things and the different aspects of it as it continues to play out in ways like Social Security that we haven't yet considered.
Exactly. And I'll try to keep your viewing audience updated on everything that comes across my desk.
Well, one thing is for sure, we will hear a lot about this as well as we roll into the next few months until November. All right. Davis Garrison, always good to have you on the show. Thanks so much for your information.
Thanks as always, Amy.
You can find him at Preservation Financial Group right there on Sunset Drive in Johnson City. You can check out the website there, preservationfinancialgroup.net, for more information.